Welcome, true crime enthusiasts, to a tale that will take you deep into the heart of Europe, to the city of 100 spires, Prague, where history whispers through cobblestone streets and the shadows hold more than just the weight of time. This is the story of the haunted archives of Prague, where the past is not just preserved but alive, where the secrets of centuries are guarded by something far more than mere ink and paper. Prepare for a narrative where each page turned could be a step into another era, where the dust of history might just be the breath of the long departed. Prague, with its Gothic architecture, Baroque churches, and the ever-watchful Charles Bridge, has always been a city where the line between the mundane and the magical is whispered to be thin. Among its countless legends, none is more obscure or terrifying than that of the National Archives, housed in an ancient building near the old town square. This place, once a monastery built in the 14th century under the patronage of King Charles IV, now serves as the keeper of Czech history, but at night, it's said to become a custodian of something far more sinister. The story begins with the construction of the monastery, a place where monks not only practiced their faith but also delved into the forbidden arts of alchemy, astrology, and the occult. King Charles IV, himself an avid scholar of the mystical, was said to have gifted the monastery with texts that were considered too dangerous for the common folk. When the monastery was converted into archives during the 19th century, many believed that the transition was not just of purpose but of guardianship, from monks to entities bound by the knowledge they once sought to protect. The first documented anomaly happened in 1883 when an archivist, Jan Marek, was found dead in one of the reading rooms, surrounded by papers that had seemingly animated, swirling around him like leaves in a storm. His last entry in the archives log spoke of hearing voices from the manuscripts, of feeling as if the documents were alive, whispering secrets and curses. The official cause of death was listed as a heart attack, but local folklore whispered of a different truth, that Jan had disturbed something within the archives that did not wish to be disturbed. His death became a cautionary tale, a warning to those who would pry into the affairs of the past without respect. Over the years, several curious incidents have been reported. In 1927, a group of historians researching the 30 Years' War experienced a series of inexplicable events. Books flying off shelves, pages turning by themselves, and the sound of footsteps in empty corridors. One researcher, Ivan Novotny, claimed to have seen a figure in 17th-century attire, his eyes hollow, pointing to a book that had not been catalogued in over a century. When they opened it, they found it was filled with personal letters, confessions, and prophecies, all written in blood. The next day, Eva was found in a catatonic state, repeating phrases from the book, her sanity seemingly taken by whatever spirit had shown her its secrets. She spent the rest of her life in an asylum, speaking of a library of souls, where each book was a life lived or a life yet to come. The haunted archives are rumored to be home to the keepers, spectral entities bound to the knowledge they once guarded or perhaps created. These spirits are said to be particularly active when the city is shrouded in fog, a common occurrence in Prague, which locals refer to as the breath of the past. During these times, the archives are not just a repository but a portal where the past can reach out, where history tries to rewrite itself through those who dare to delve too deep. In the late 20th century, the archives attracted the attention of parapsychologists and historians alike. One notable investigation in 1989, led by Dr. Karel Polak, a renowned expert in both history and the paranormal, aimed to document these phenomena. Using infrared cameras, motion sensors, and audio recorders, they captured evidence of unexplained activity. Footage showed books moving without human touch, lights flickering in patterns that matched no known electrical fault, and voices on the audio that were not of the living. One recording, in particular, was of a voice speaking in Old Czech, warning of "but curse upon those who seek to know what should remain forgotten." Polik's team also witnessed a phenomenon they described as historical echo, where parts of the room appeared to shift into different eras, complete with the sounds, smells, and even the temperature of those times. The psychological horror of the haunted archives lies in the idea that knowledge can be a prison, that some secrets are meant to stay buried, not just in the earth, but in time itself. Those who have come too close to the truth have spoken of feeling a weight upon their minds, of visions where they live out moments from history, their own identities blurring with those of the past. One of the most chilling accounts came from a young historian, Petra Horokova, in 2003. She was researching the Hussite Wars and had found a diary from the period that was not listed in any catalog. As she read, she began to experience vivid hallucinations, living through the terror of the battles, the pain of the wounded, and the fear of the persecuted. She described being pulled into the pages, her body remaining in the present while her mind was in the 15th century. When found, she was in a state of shock, her hands covered in ink as if she had been writing or perhaps trying to escape the pages. After her recovery, she refused to return to the archives, speaking only of the eyes in the darkness that watched over the knowledge within. She also mentioned a recurring dream where she was part of a chain of scholars, each passing down a book that grew heavier with each generation, symbolizing the burden of knowledge. The archives have a room known as the Silent Chamber, where the most dangerous documents are kept, manuscripts that are said to contain spells, curses, or insights into the human soul that could drive one to madness. Access is strictly controlled, but there are tales of those who ventured in without permission, only to emerge changed, their minds filled with visions or driven to acts they could not explain. One such case involved the curator in 1955, who after reading from one of the forbidden texts, was found attempting to burn the entire archive, claiming he was purging the world of its sins. His actions were thwarted, but he could never explain his behavior, only muttering about the voices of the damned. In recent years, with the rise of digital archiving, the physical handling of documents has decreased, but the phenomena have not. Modern technology has only added layers to the mystery. Digital scans of documents sometimes reveal images or text not visible to the naked eye, faces appearing in the margins, or words that seem to shift when viewed from different angles. Some believe this is the digital manifestation of the spirit's influence, a new way for the past to interact with the present. One researcher claimed to have seen a digital image of a document change before their eyes, showing a scene from the defenestration of Prague, complete with the screams of those involved. As we leave the haunting corridors of Prague's National Archives behind, remember, in some places, history isn't just recorded, it's alive, waiting to claim those who dare to unearth its secrets. The haunted archives of Prague remind us that knowledge can be a double-edged sword, that in the quest for understanding, we might encounter forces that prefer the shadows of oblivion to the light of revelation. It's a place where each document might hold not just information but a piece of someone's soul, where the act of reading could mean opening a door to the past that one might not be able to close. Thank you for joining us on this journey through time and terror. Until next time, keep your curiosity in check, and sleep well, if you can.